The shocking betrayal, the wedding invitation that changed everything. The envelope arrived on a Tuesday morning, cream-colored and elegant, with calligraphy so perfect it looked like a cruel joke. Mia's hands trembled as she tore it open, and when she saw the names printed inside, her world fractured into 1,000 jagged pieces. Ethan Cross and Victoria Whitmore request the honor of your presence. Ethan. Her Ethan, the man who'd whispered promises against her skin just 3 months ago. The man who'd said he needed time to figure things out before they could get engaged. The man who'd kissed her goodbye at the airport with tears in his eyes, swearing he'd come back for her. He'd figured it out, all right. He'd figured out how to marry her best friend. Welcome to Heartbound Ashes' channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because this story of love, lies, and the sweetest revenge is just beginning. Mia stared at the invitation until the words blurred. Victoria's face smiled up from her phone's lock screen, a photo from their college days, arms wrapped around each other, faces pressed together in that effortless intimacy of people who'd known each other since they were 18. 10 years of friendship, 10 years of shared secrets, late-night confessions, and promises that no man would ever come between them. 10 years of lies. The call that confirmed everything. Her phone rang. Victoria's name lit up the screen, and for a moment, Mia considered throwing the device against the wall. Instead, she answered, her voice remarkably steady. Did you get it? Victoria's voice was bright, almost manic. The invitation? I know it's sudden, but when you know, right? Ethan and I, God, Mia, I never believed in soulmates until him. Soulmates. The word twisted like a knife between Mia's ribs. When? Mia asked, her throat tight. When did this happen? A pause. Too long. We ran into each other at that conference in Boston. You remember the one in September? We got to talking and I don't know, something just clicked. I tried to fight it, Mia, I really did. I knew about your history with him, but Victoria's voice dropped to a whisper, intimate and confessional. Sometimes love doesn't ask permission. September. Mia's mind raced backward. September was when Ethan had broken things off, claiming he needed space to focus on his career. September was when Victoria had been too busy to talk, citing work stress and family drama. September was when Mia had cried herself to sleep every night, while her boyfriend and her best friend were falling in love. Are you happy for me? Victoria asked, and there was something underneath the question. A challenge, maybe? Or a test? Mia closed her eyes. Of course, she lied. I'm happy for you. I knew you would be. You're my maid of honor, obviously. I wouldn't want anyone else standing beside me. Say you'll do it, Mia. Please? The audacity of it stole her breath. Stand beside Victoria while she married Ethan? Smile for photographs while her heart bled out? Play the role of the supportive friend while they seal their betrayal with vows? I'll think about it, Mia said, and ended the call before Victoria could hear her voice break. The discovery in the closet, Mia moved through her apartment like a ghost, her body operating on autopilot while her mind spiraled. She found herself in front of her closet, staring at the cardboard box on the top shelf, the one she'd shoved there after Ethan left, unable to look at the remnants of their relationship, but unable to throw them away. She pulled it down now, driven by some masochistic need to understand. Inside were the usual artifacts of a failed relationship: concert tickets, birthday cards, a sweatshirt that still smelled faintly of his cologne. But there was something else, buried at the bottom. A flash drive she didn't recognize. Mia turned it over in her hands. It was labeled in Ethan's handwriting, for Mia in case something happens. Her laptop was still open on the kitchen table. She plugged in the drive with shaking hands. The files loaded slowly, revealing folders organized by month. Her cursor hovered over the most recent one, September, before she clicked. The videos that revealed the truth, the first video opened, and Ethan's face filled the screen. He looked exhausted, his hair disheveled, his eyes red-rimmed. The timestamp read September 3rd, 2 days before he'd ended things. "Mia," he said, his voice rough, "if you're watching this, then something's gone wrong. I need you to know the truth about Victoria." Mia's heart hammered against her ribs. "She's not who you think she is," Ethan continued. "6 months ago, she came to me with a proposition. She said she'd been in love with me for years, that she wanted to be with me, but she knew you'd never forgive her if we just got together. So, she had a plan." The screen blurred as Ethan leaned closer to the camera. "She wanted me to break up with you first, make it seem natural, like we just drifted apart. Then, after a few months, she and I would reconnect. That way, enough time would have passed that no one could accuse us of cheating. That way, you'd have to accept it. Accept us." Mia felt like she was drowning. "I told her no," Ethan said, and something in his voice made her lean forward. "I told her I loved you, that I wasn't interested in playing games. But Victoria," he laughed bitterly, "Victoria doesn't take no for an answer." The blackmail that destroyed him, Ethan's face on the screen, hardened. "She showed me photographs, documents, evidence of something I did 5 years ago. Something stupid and illegal that could destroy my career, my family, everything. She said she'd make it all go away if I did what she asked, if I broke up with you, if I pretended to fall in love with her." The video cut to black for a moment, then resumed. Ethan looked older somehow, defeated. "I'm recording these videos as insurance. I don't know what she's planning, but I know it's something bigger than just stealing you away from me. Victoria's been obsessed with you for years, Mia. Not in a friendship way, in a way that's twisted. She wants what you have. She wants to be you. And I'm terrified of what she'll do to make that happen." The final video was dated September 10th, 3 days after he'd ended things with Mia. Ethan stared into the camera, his expression grim. "She's escalated. She's threatening not just me now, but you. She has something on you too, Mia. Something from college that she's kept hidden all these years. I don't know what it is, but she made it clear. If I don't marry her, if I don't make this look real, she'll destroy both of us. So I'm doing this to protect you. But I need you to know that none of it is real. My love for you is real." This, he gestured around him, despair written across his face. "This is survival." The video ended. The decision for revenge, Mia sat in the silence of her apartment as darkness crept across the floor. The invitation lay beside her laptop, mocking her with its elegant script. Victoria's face smiled from a dozen photographs pinned to the corkboard above her desk. Years of memories, years of trust, years of lies. Something cold and hard settled in Mia's chest, replacing the pain. Victoria wanted to play games, wanted to manipulate and control and destroy? Fine. Mia picked up her phone and typed a message to Victoria. "I'd be honored to be your maid of honor. Let's make this wedding unforgettable." She hit send and smiled for the first time since the invitation arrived. Victoria thought she'd won. Thought she'd broken Mia. Thought she'd get her fairy tale ending while Mia faded into the background. But Victoria had made one critical mistake. She'd underestimated what Mia was capable of when pushed too far. The wedding was 3 months away. 3 months to plan. 3 months to prepare. 3 months to orchestrate the kind of revenge that would haunt Victoria for the rest of her life. Mia opened her laptop and created a new folder. She titled it Operation Payback. Because Victoria was right about one thing, Sometimes love doesn't ask permission, and neither does revenge. What secrets is Victoria hiding? What will Mia discover as she digs deeper? And what devastating truth will she reveal on Victoria's wedding day? Reveals the dark plans Mia sets in motion, and the shocking discovery that changes everything. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see how this story of betrayal unfolds into the perfect revenge. Part 2 and 310,048 Part 2. Heartbreak and revenge, the perfect maid of honor Mia became everything Victoria wanted her to be. She showed up to dress fittings with champagne and compliments. She organized the bridal shower with meticulous attention to detail. She smiled until her face ached and played the role of the supportive best friend so convincingly that even she almost believed it. But every night, alone in her apartment, she worked. She studied Ethan's videos until she had them memorized. She researched Victoria's past, combing through old social media posts, college records, mutual friends' photos. She looked for the cracks in Victoria's perfect facade. And what she found made her blood run cold. Welcome back to Heartbound Ashes' channel. If you're just joining us, catch part 1 first, because what Mia discovers about Victoria's past will change everything you thought you knew about betrayal. Victoria Whitmore wasn't just manipulative, she was dangerous. The trail of broken hearts Mia started with coffee dates, casual catch-ups with old college friends who'd known Victoria back when they were all young and reckless. She framed it as wedding nostalgia, reminiscing about the good old days. But what she really wanted were the stories people didn't tell at parties. Jessica Chen met her at a cafe downtown, her smile brittle, when Mia mentioned Victoria's upcoming wedding. "I'm happy for her," Jessica said, stirring her latte too many times. "Really, I am." "But?" Mia prompted gently. Jessica looked up and something flickered in her eyes, old pain, carefully buried. "Do you remember Marcus, my boyfriend senior year?" Mia nodded slowly. Marcus had been Jessica's first real love, the kind of relationship that made everyone else believe in soulmates. "Victoria slept with him," Jessica said quietly. 2 weeks before graduation. "She told me it was a mistake, that they were drunk, that it didn't mean anything." Marcus said the same thing. "I forgave them both because I was an idiot who believed that friendship meant something." "What happened?" Mia asked, though she could already see the ending written in Jessica's expression. "They got together right after graduation, dated for 8 months. Victoria broke up with him when she got bored." Jessica's laugh was hollow. She didn't want him. She just wanted to prove she could take him from me. That's who Victoria is, Mia. She sees something someone else has, and she has to possess it. Then, she throws it away once the novelty wears off. The pattern continued. Sarah from their sophomore dorm had lost a promotion to Victoria. A promotion Victoria had sabotaged by spreading rumors about Sarah's mental health. David, who'd been Victoria's boyfriend junior year, had broken up with her after she tried to isolate him from his family. When David moved on to someone new, that someone mysteriously received anonymous emails revealing David's private therapy sessions, information only Victoria could have known. Each story added another piece to the puzzle, and the picture that emerged was terrifying. Victoria wasn't just competitive or jealous. She was obsessed with control, with winning, with destroying anything that didn't belong to her. And now, she'd set her sights on Ethan. On Mia's life. The secret meeting, Mia knew she needed to talk to Ethan. But Victoria monitored him like a warden. He rarely answered his phone, and when he did, his responses were clipped and careful. So Mia waited until Victoria's bachelorette party, the one night she knew Victoria would be too drunk on attention to notice anything else. She texted Ethan from a burner phone. Coffee shop on 5th. Midnight. Come alone. He was waiting when she arrived, hunched in a corner booth, wearing a baseball cap pulled low. The sight of him, his familiar hands wrapped around a coffee cup, the way his shoulders curved forward like he was trying to disappear, made her chest ache. You got the flash drive, he said. Not a question. Mia slid into the booth across from him. Why didn't you just tell me? Why let me think you were choosing her? Because she would have hurt you. Ethan's eyes were desperate. The thing she has on you, Mia, it's from that night sophomore year. The party at Delta House. Mia's blood turned to ice. She knew exactly what night he meant. The night she'd rather forget. The night something had happened that she'd buried so deep she sometimes convinced herself it was just a bad dream. She has photos, Ethan continued, his voice barely above a whisper. Videos. Evidence that could be misinterpreted. She said if I didn't do exactly what she wanted, she'd send them to your employer, your family, everyone. She'd destroy your reputation, your career, your life. So you're marrying her to protect me? Mia's voice cracked. I'm marrying her because I don't have a choice. But Mia, he reached across the table, stopping just short of touching her hand. I need you to stay away from her. I need you to drop out of the wedding party, distance yourself, forget about both of us. She's more dangerous than you know. The discovery of Victoria's obsession, but Mia couldn't stay away. Not now. Not when she was so close to understanding the full scope of Victoria's madness. She used her access as maid of honor to Victoria's apartment, a key she'd been given to help with wedding preparations. She waited until Victoria was at a spa appointment, then let herself in. The apartment was exactly what you'd expect, tastefully decorated, everything in its place, the kind of studied perfection that looked effortless but required constant maintenance. Mia moved through the rooms methodically, searching for what? Evidence? Proof? She found it in Victoria's home office, in a locked drawer that yielded to a bobby pin and determination. Inside were notebooks, dozens of them, dating back years. Mia opened the most recent one, and her hands began to shake. The pages were filled with Mia's life. Photographs printed from social media, annotated with dates and locations. Schedules mapping Mia's daily routines. Lists of Mia's friends, family members, colleagues, each one marked with notes about their relationships, their vulnerabilities, how they could be used. There were detailed plans about how to isolate Mia, how to undermine her confidence, how to slowly take apart her life piece by piece. Victoria had been planning this for years, long before Ethan. This wasn't about stealing Mia's boyfriend. This was about systematically destroying everything Mia had built. One page made Mia's stomach turn. It was titled Phase 3, After the Wedding. Beneath it, Victoria had written a chilling timeline. Ethan serves his purpose for 6 to 8 months. Then I stage a tragic accident. Mia comes to comfort me. I become her only support system. I become her entire world. Then I take everything, piece by piece, until she has nothing left but me. Mia photographed every page with trembling hands. Then she found the file Victoria was using to blackmail Ethan, documents related to a financial mishap at his old firm. Innocent enough in context, but damning if framed correctly. She photographed those too, but it was the last drawer that held the worst discovery. The truth about that night inside a manila envelope were the photos and videos Victoria claimed to have from sophomore year. Mia forced herself to look, prepared for the worst. What she saw made her knees buckle. The photos weren't of her. They were of a girl who looked like her. Same build, same hair color, But not her. The video was grainy, deliberately obscured, but Mia could see enough to know this wasn't from any party she'd attended. Victoria had fabricated the entire thing, used a look-alike, manipulated footage, created evidence of something that had never happened. And Ethan had believed it, because Victoria had made it just believable enough, just specific enough to that one terrible night when Mia had been blackout drunk and couldn't remember anything. Mia copied everything to her phone, then carefully returned the notebooks to their exact positions. She left Victoria's apartment on autopilot, her mind reeling. Victoria hadn't just betrayed her. Victoria had constructed an elaborate multi-year plot to psychologically torture her, to steal her boyfriend, to systematically dismantle her entire existence. This wasn't revenge for some imagined slight. This was pure obsessive madness. The new plan. Mia sat in her car outside Victoria's building for an hour, pieces clicking into place. She could go to the police with what she'd found, but Victoria was smart. She'd covered her tracks, and obsessive notebooks weren't quite illegal. She could confront Victoria directly, but that would only accelerate whatever Victoria had planned. No, she needed to beat Victoria at her own game. She needed to expose her in a way that was so public, so undeniable, that Victoria couldn't manipulate or lie her way out of it. She needed the wedding. Mia drove to Ethan's office and waited in the parking garage until he emerged. He saw her and froze, fear flashing across his face. "Get in," she said through the open window. He did, looking around nervously like Victoria might materialize from the shadows. "Mia, I told you, the evidence is fake." She cut him off. "The photos, the videos, they're not of me. She manufactured everything." Ethan's face went white. "What?" Mia showed him the photographs on her phone, watched as understanding dawned, and then twisted into horror. "She's been planning this for years, Ethan. You were never the end game. I am. She wants to destroy me, and you're just a tool she's using to do it." "Oh God." Ethan dropped his head into his hands. "What have I done?" "You tried to protect me," Mia said quietly. "But now we're going to end this. Together." She laid out her plan, watching as Ethan's expression shifted from despair to something harder, darker. When she finished, he looked at her for a long moment. "She'll retaliate," he warned. "When this is over, she'll come after both of us with everything she has. Let her try." Mia's voice was steel. "I'm done being afraid of Victoria Whitmore." The countdown begins. The next 2 months were a performance. Mia played the devoted maid of honor while secretly preparing for the wedding day revelation that would destroy Victoria's carefully constructed world. She collected more evidence, reached out to Victoria's other victims, built an airtight case. Ethan played the willing groom, going through the motions while feeding Mia information about Victoria's movements, her plans, her vulnerabilities. And Victoria, drunk on her perceived victory, never saw it coming. 3 days before the wedding, Victoria called Mia in tears. "I don't know if I can do this," she sobbed. "What if I'm making a mistake? What if Ethan doesn't really love me?" Mia held the phone away from her ear, marveling at the performance. Victoria was testing her, looking for any sign that Mia suspected the truth. "You're just nervous," Mia soothed, forcing warmth into her voice. "Every bride feels this way. But Ethan loves you. I've seen the way he looks at you." The lie tasted like ashes, but Victoria ate. "You're right. You're always right. God, Mia, I don't know what I'd do without you." "You're about to find out," Mia thought but said nothing. The night before the rehearsal dinner was held at an upscale restaurant downtown. All of Victoria's and Ethan's families gathered together for the first time. Mia watched Victoria work the room, touching arms and laughing at jokes, playing the role of the blushing bride. She was so good at it. so convincing. During the speeches, Victoria stood and raised her glass to Mia. To my maid of honor, my best friend since college, the sister I never had. Mia, you've been by my side through everything. Tomorrow wouldn't be possible without you. The room applauded. Mia smiled and raised her own glass, meeting Victoria's eyes across the table. For just a moment, she saw something flicker there. Uncertainty, maybe, or the faintest hint of suspicion. Then Victoria smiled back, bright and false, and the moment passed. After dinner, as guests mingled over cocktails, Ethan found Mia on the terrace. They stood side by side, not touching, looking out at the city lights. Last chance to back out, he said quietly. Mia thought about all the people Victoria had hurt, all the lives she'd damaged, all the years of manipulation and lies. No, she said. Tomorrow, this ends. Tomorrow, Ethan agreed. They stood there in silence, two people bound together by betrayal and revenge, waiting for the sunrise that would change everything. Inside, Victoria laughed at someone's joke, her hand resting possessively on her mother's arm. She looked happy, triumphant. She had no idea that her perfect wedding was about to become her worst nightmare. The stage is set. The evidence is ready. But what will Mia do when the moment comes? Will she go through with her revenge, or will she hesitate? Part 3 brings us to the wedding day, where secrets explode, hearts break, and revenge is served cold. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see how this story of obsession and payback reaches its devastating conclusion. The ultimate payback: the morning of the wedding, Mia woke at dawn, her heart hammering against her ribs. Today was the day. Today, Victoria Whitmore's carefully constructed house of lies would burn to the ground. She dressed slowly, mechanically, in the champagne-colored bridesmaid dress Victoria had chosen. The irony wasn't lost on her. Victoria had picked the color because it made Mia's complexion look washed out. Even in the smallest details, Victoria's cruelty shone through. Her phone buzzed. A text from Ethan. "Are you sure about this?" Mia typed back. "Too late to stop now." 3 dots appeared, disappeared. Then, "Good, she deserves this." Welcome back to Heartbound Ashes channel. This is it, the moment we've been building toward. The wedding day where everything Victoria has schemed and planned will unravel in the most spectacular way possible. Make sure you're subscribed, because you won't believe how this ends. The bridal suite at the Ashford estate was chaos. Makeup artists, hairstylists, bridesmaids, shrieking over champagne. Victoria sat in the center of it all like a queen, her white gown spread around her, a crown of flowers woven into her hair. She looked ethereal, angelic. She looked like a bride who was about to marry the love of her life, not a woman who'd blackmailed him into it. "Mia." Victoria's voice cut through the noise. "Come help me with this clasp." Mia crossed the room, her hands steady as she fastened the delicate necklace around Victoria's throat. Their eyes met in the mirror, and for a moment, something passed between them. The weight of years, of secrets, of betrayals. "Thank you," Victoria whispered, and her eyes were bright with tears. "For everything. For being here. For forgiving me." Mia's fingers tightened on the clasp. "Forgiving you? For Ethan." Victoria turned, gripping Mia's hands. "I know it must have hurt when he chose me. But you've been so gracious about it. So supportive. That's real friendship, Mia. That's love." The audacity of it stole Mia's breath. Victoria actually believed her own narrative. Actually thought Mia had forgiven her for stealing Ethan. Had no idea about the manipulation, the blackmail, the years of obsessive plotting. "Of course," Mia said, her voice soft. "What are best friends for?" The ceremony begins. The wedding was a fairy tale. String quartet playing Pachal Bell, roses in shades of blush and cream, arching over the aisle. 200 guests dressed in their finest, whispering about how beautiful the bride looked, how lucky the groom was. Mia stood at the altar beside Victoria's other bridesmaids, her hands clasped around a bouquet of peonies. She watched Ethan take his place at the front, watched his face carefully blank as the music swelled. Then, Victoria appeared at the end of the aisle, radiant in white lace, her father's arm linked through hers. The guests rose, a collective breath of awe rippling through the crowd. Victoria walked slowly, savoring each step, each admiring glance. When she reached the altar, she handed her bouquet to Mia, their fingers brushing. "Here we go," Victoria whispered, smiling like she'd already won. "Here we go," Mia agreed. The officiant began the ceremony, his voice warm and practiced. Mia barely heard the words. Her heart was pounding so loudly, she was certain everyone could hear it. Then came the moment she'd been waiting for. "If anyone here has reason why these two should not be wed, speak now or forever hold your peace." The traditional pause. No one ever actually objected at weddings. It was theater, a relic from another time. Mia stepped forward. The objection that changed everything. "I object." The words fell into the silence like stones into still water. Ripples of shock spread through the crowd. Victoria's head whipped around, her eyes wide with confusion and the first flickers of fear. "Mia?" Her voice was small, uncertain. "What are you, I object?" Mia repeated, louder this time, "because this marriage is based on blackmail, manipulation, and lies." The crowd erupted in whispers. The officiant looked helplessly between Mia and Victoria. Ethan stood frozen, his face carefully neutral. Victoria's shock transformed into fury in an instant. "You're insane," she hissed. "Guards, escort her out. She's clearly having some kind of breakdown. I have proof." Mia cut her off. She pulled out her phone, her hand steady despite the adrenaline flooding her system. "Proof of everything you've done, everything you've planned, everything you are." She turned to face the guests, her voice carrying across the stunned silence. "For years, Victoria Whitmore has systematically manipulated and destroyed the people around her. She's blackmailed Ethan into this marriage using fabricated evidence. She's plotted to isolate and ruin me. And she's hurt dozens of other people along the way. This is ridiculous." Victoria's voice cracked. "Mia, I know you're upset that Ethan chose me, but this is..." "Jessica Chen," Mia called out, and a woman in the third row stood up, her face pale but determined. "Tell them what Victoria did to you." Jessica's voice shook, but held firm. "She sabotaged my relationship, slept with my boyfriend, then threw him away when she got bored. She broke us both just to prove she could." "Sarah Martinez," Mia continued, and another woman stood. "Tell them about the promotion." One by one, Victoria's victims rose and spoke, each story more damning than the last. The crowd's whispers grew louder, uglier. Phones came out. People started recording. Victoria's face had gone from white to red. "Lies," she spat. "All of them are lying because they're jealous I have your notebooks," Mia said quietly, and Victoria went still. "The ones where you documented my entire life, where you planned how to destroy me, where you wrote out your timeline for murdering Ethan after the wedding." The crowd gasped. Someone screamed. Victoria's mother stood up, her face stricken. "No," Victoria whispered. "No, you can't have those. They were locked. You wrote it all down," Mia continued, her voice cold. "Every manipulation, every lie, every piece of blackmail. You documented your own guilt." The unraveling Victoria looked around wildly, seeing her carefully constructed world crumbling. Her bridesmaids had stepped away from her. Her mother was crying. Her father looked like he'd aged 10 years in 10 minutes. Ethan, Victoria turned to him desperately. Tell them. Tell them we're in love. Tell them this is all a misunderstanding. Ethan met her eyes, and something in his expression made Victoria falter. I can't, he said quietly. Because it would be a lie, you bastard. Victoria's voice was venom. You were going to go through with this. You were going to marry me. To protect Mia, Ethan said. Because you threatened to destroy her with fake evidence if I didn't. But the evidence was never real. Was it, Victoria? You manufactured all of it. The photos, the videos, none of it was Mia. You created a lie convincing enough to trap me. Victoria's face twisted with rage and something else. Something that looked almost like grief. She turned back to Mia, and for a moment her mask slipped completely. You don't understand, she said, and her voice cracked. Everything I did because I love you. The words hung in the air, shocking in their sincerity. You're my best friend, Victoria continued, tears streaming down her face. The only person who ever really saw me. I wanted to be close to you. I wanted to be important to you. I wanted to be irreplaceable. So you tried to destroy my life? Mia's voice shook. That's not love, Victoria. That's obsession. It's the same thing. Victoria screamed. Don't you see? I love you so much that I couldn't stand watching you have things I didn't. Watching you be happy when I was empty. I needed to be part of your world, even if it meant tearing it down. The confession silenced the room. This wasn't just manipulation. This was something darker, more twisted. A warped, obsessive attachment that Victoria had convinced herself was friendship. I feel sorry for you, Mia said softly. But that doesn't mean I forgive you. The aftermath security arrived, real security, not the decorative ushers, and began escorting Victoria from the venue. She fought them at first, screaming Mia's name, begging for understanding. Then, she went limp, defeated, as they led her away. The guests dispersed in chaos, everyone talking at once, phones out, already spreading the story across social media. The fairy tale wedding had become a viral scandal in real time. Ethan found Mia in the now empty bridal suite, still wearing her bridesmaid dress, staring at her reflection in the mirror. You did it, he said quietly. We did it, Mia corrected. She turned to face him, and for the first time in months, she felt like she could breathe. It's over, is it? Ethan moved closer, careful, like he was approaching something fragile. Victoria's not going to just disappear. She'll fight this. She'll try to rewrite the narrative. Let her try. Mia's voice was steady. We have proof. We have witnesses. We have the truth. They stood there in silence for a moment, two people who'd been bound together by someone else's manipulation, now free but uncertain of what came next. I'm sorry, Ethan said finally. For all of it. For not being strong enough to fight her from the beginning. For putting you through this. Mia studied his face. The exhaustion, the guilt, the remnants of the man she'd once loved. I'm sorry too, she said. But I don't think we can go back to what we were. I know. Ethan's smile was sad. Too much has happened. Too much damage.